I got a spare harness. And I get to demonstrate exactly the issues and what is entailed of the fuel pump connection. So hi, welcome back to CarsAddiction.com. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ryan and we share car related videos every week. Now today we are actually debugging a 1997 Subaru Impreza, Japanese import. The issue we have is that the car is not starting. Now the issue we have is, let's just demonstrate that. Everything turns out normal, and when we go to start, the car just tries to start and never does. Now if you noticed one thing, and this is what the video is going to be all about, is the fuel pump and the fuel, how the wiring is set up in the car to help you debug on your situation. Now if you notice that when I turn on the thing, I don't hear the fuel pump priming. Now the fuel pump is located beneath that inspection lid behind the rear seat. So before actually getting to the fuel pump, let's switch off this and get into the engine bay and check out for the most simple things before we actually get into it deeper. Now you want to open your fuse box cover. Now the only fuse that controls the fuel components is this one, is SBF number 2, this 30 amp fuse, and that one will relate to that over there. So you want to check if that is good, if it's blown or not. In our case it's complete. So in that case we'd have to go back inside, and now my recommendation is to remove the back seat. No need to move the bottom part for now. Remove the inspection lid. And now you would want to remove this connector. Okay, now we've removed the connector, and what sends 12 volts to the fuel pump is the blue yellow wire you see over here, and the black wire is the ground. There are other wires. Those wires are for the fuel gauge. What my recommendation is to get a voltmeter and measure the voltage across these two outer pins over here, which correlate to the solid black and yellow blue wire. Now if you're like me and you're by yourself and the fuel pump only is engaging for a second or 2 seconds, so that doesn't give you enough time to check if there's voltage here. So what you want to do is get underneath the driver's side area, and below the area there are two unconnected green connectors. These are called the test connectors, and if you connect them, the car will go through various cycles and various relays, including fuel pump. So all you want to do is just connect those two, and they are connected. Now another diagnostic thing we have for our Impreza is this for the ECU, to see what code is thrown out, but we don't get any codes with the fuel pump issue. And I'll provide a link in the description below on how to operate these test black connectors and these green ones for further details. But for our purpose, the green one is just enough. Now all we need is to not start the car, just put it on. And you can hear everything being cycled. And this way, using the voltmeter, we should be able to, by ourselves, see if we get a pulse of 12 volts with those two connectors. Now, I showed you actual 12 volts coming in because I actually fixed the problem. The problem was, I'll later on tell you. But imagine you didn't get 12 volts at the fuel pump. If you didn't get 12 volts at the fuel pump, that means maybe the fuel pump is faulty. So you'd have to remove the fuel pump and bench test it directly with 12 volts from the battery and take it from there. Maybe you just need a new fuel pump. In my case, I didn't get any 12 volts, and it was something lying between the battery and the wiring over there. So something along the lines of the wiring of the car. Now luckily, I got a spare harness. and I get to demonstrate exactly the issues and what is entailed of the fuel pump connection. So like I said, we checked the fuse box for that blown fuse, which wasn't there. That wire goes all the way into the connection there, into the ECU. The ECU then powers up this green relay, and the green relay goes through this side of the car, near the door sill, under the back seat, and ends up into the fuel pump. Now, and excuse me for using, whatever I'm using, just a lot of parts I had running around just to demonstrate where's the part of the car. So my car is right-hand drive. I'm using a Datsun 260Z steering wheel. I do actually own the car and currently restoring it, so if that's a car you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more content on that. So what we want to be now focusing on is underneath the driver's side area. This might be recognizable. This is the fuse box, and over that fuse box, way up on the top, you're gonna see these three relays. I'm not sure which one this is. This is the main relay, and this is the relay we are interested in. Now, if we see at the back, we've got a solid yellow wire, black red wire, a black yellow wire, and a green, light green, black wire. Now, these two small wires are signal wires from the ECU. So that light green wire goes all through the harness onto the passenger side. This is not the actual ECU, just mimicking one. And here we go for the two connectors of the ECU. And if we see closely, get to see there's the yellow-green wire right there in position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 from the top. So usually you are viewing it this way, and that would be from the top over there. And the black-yellow wire, as you can see, is positioned there as well. Now, the solid wires we see back in the harness. So let's go back to the relay. So we've spoken about those go to the ECU. This yellow wire is coming from the fuse box, that 30 amp fuse that I showed you before. And this black red wire is going all the way to the back, and this is what interests us for future debugging. So that routes towards this junction box. It comes out of this junction box, goes all the way onto the side of the car, through the door sill, under the rear bench seat. You'll find a connector similar to this, and a connector like this, which is underneath some padding. Then from black red, it gets into blue and yellow, which is what we recognized from when we saw the connector at the fuel pump. There we go. So if we're not getting 12 volts over there, what I recommend is you check if you get 12 volts over here. And if that's not the case, then we go and head over to the relay, which is a bit harder to get access to, because to remove the seat is actually just those two bolts, 1, 2, and that lifts off. Now my issue was actually this connector, and it is actually known to fail from Impreza. And that's actually what happened to my car. That point over there, that connection there has failed. So as you see, we're in the back of the car. I have the connector disconnected, and as you can see, that should not be like that. That's all burnt out. Now what happened is the metal part expanded, all the plastics melted and fused in together, not having connection into the required connector. As you can see, there's still a bit dirt. So all you have to do is actually clean the connectors over there, clean that connector, maybe get a plier and make sure it's more compressed to make complete contact with it. Reconnect it and you should be okay. If it's completely fine over there, you don't have 12 volts coming there, that means the problem lies along the wire. Maybe the wire got cut somehow, somewhere. But your next point of debugging would be this relay. Now, this relay is grounded to this metal chassis, so might be just a simple, this has popped out, or this clip is out, or whatnot, or a faulty relay. Now, these relays, I'm not sure how much they are, but a lot of people say they might go bad. So you would want to disconnect this wire and replace that. But actually, before replacing, you might want to check if you get a signal from these two wires, just to ensure that if you do have a signal, that means that the relay is faulty. If you don't have a signal, then there's something along the connection from here all the way to the ECU, those green connectors I showed you before. Also, if your car was fitted with alarm, you might want to check the connections and immobilizer if it's affecting it. Now, this car was previously installed with an alarm, and now I just bypassed it and everything. Usually the connectors are beneath the steering column on this connector over here. Now, thanks for watching. I hope this video has been useful to you guys to find the issue where your problem lies into. And if you do have something more to input to the video and to add, comment below, and I would ask you to put in the year of your car and what continent it was built for, because sometimes wire colors change between the years and continents. So make sure you actually put that in the comments below. Thank you for watching and take care.